Howdy goons, I have to make the list longer. 5 isn't cutting it. There's a lot I want to post and I'm running out of time. So hello, if you're wondering why I'm in a rush, it's because I made a New Year's resolution to beat 100 games in 2025. Not a problem, I beat them already, but I have to review them all too. So here's 10 more games I beat in 2025. Space Invaders 95, The Attack of the Lunar Loonies, 2 hours. Everyone knows Space Invaders. It's one of the oldest games ever, and despite its simplicity, it was actually a lot of firsts for the game industry at the time. These are things we take for granted now, like lives, a high score, and bunkers. God, I love bunkers. But the original went on to inspire some of the industry's best, like Hideo Kojima and Shigeru Miyamoto. Look, I never accused them of having good taste, I just said that they made games. Lunar Loonies, though, is a sequel that came out way later, almost 20 years later. At this point, the franchise was getting a little basic, a bit stale. That's a really nice way of saying that it sucked and the company forgot how to make good games. So, Loonies had to do something a little bit different. They made a parody game, and boy did they have a lot of material to work with. Well, I'm nearsighted and colorblind, maybe they saw something I didn't. They must have, because this unironically resulted in one of the best Space Invaders games ever. All of the sprites are full color and have been replaced with gags and bits. It's a very short game, because it's an arcade game, and even though I played this after a binge of like 10 Space Invaders games, this one was still very fun and funny. It gave me a lot of hope for the rest of the series going forward. That I never made the video where I talk about every Space Invaders game ever should tell you that it never really got any better than this. I blame that entirely on the game's lack of sex appeal. We never get anything better than this hot crab lady. She might be a hermit, but I can fix her. The real problem comes with trying to play it. This was an arcade game, so you have to either emulate the original or through one of the remasters that included it, like Taito Legends 2 on the PS2, or a PSP Space Invaders game that we never got, which is how I played it. This is probably the main reason you never heard of it. Taito doesn't want us to have anything good. Kiwi Clicker, 70 hours and counting. Mostly idle, thankfully. Good lord, what do you say about this game? I've been on a kick this past year playing idle games that actually have endings. It definitely has endings, but they are not quick to get to. It may as well be an endless game. The first ending will take about 50 hours to get to, and you get a credits roll for it, so I'm counting that. But if you keep playing, there's an additional ending for maxing out the skill tree. I'm estimating that it would take me more than 150 hours to 100% it. May as well be an infinite idle game if it's going to be that long. In Kiwi Clicker, you put kiwis the bird to work and have them harvest and turn in kiwi the fruit into coins with a K. These are used to improve your kiwi the fruit production, harvesting speed, manual kiwi the fruit production, and conversion rate into coins. After a while you unlock prestiging. If you've ever played an idle game at all, you know what I'm talking about. You reset your level to increase your kiwi the fruit production permanently. This unlocks the skill tree, the class system, and eventually the pets and penance system. The skill tree is passive bonuses to all of your production methods, plus some active bonuses like the AK, which lets you auto-click. I think they call it the auto-keywicker? I don't know. The class system breaks down to archers for active players, alchemist for moderate active play, and fortification, which is just full auto mode. You can set it to auto-upgrade your production. The pet system also lets you have a pet wee-wee, not the penis kind, to play as a mini version of whatever other class you're not using. Then penance is doing challenges in exchange for a permanent kiwi, the fruit production bonus. Lastly, the tickets, which provide production bonuses as well. It all synergizes very well, but even peak performance is still going to take a lot of play. I don't recommend playing it actively. It's way too long for me to recommend, but I really like Kiwi's the bird, the art, and the puns. PD Ultraman Invaders, 2 hours. You know what Americans love? Not Ultraman. You know what else Americans love? Not Space Invaders. These two are a match made in heaven, like peanut butter and chocolate. This isn't a rip on Ultraman. I've never actually seen the show. It's one of those Power Rangers-like shows called tokusatsu. Personally, I prefer Kamen Rider. By Kamen Rider, I mean Geats specifically because I haven't watched anything else. It's basically Fortnite, but Power Rangers, and the screen's been blank for the past few seconds because as much as I'd love to show you clips of the show, they would claim the video. Japan really loves their copyright claims, and while I'm not monetized right now, I will someday, and if anyone is going to make money off of me doing the least amount of work possible, it's going to be me, damn it. It's Space Invaders but played from an isometric viewpoint, so it gives the 3D effects more of a punch. It makes it look like the monsters are hunting me down and going to kill me, and honestly, if it's this or fighting copyright claims, I think I'd prefer being crushed to death. The game isn't that much different from Space Invaders other than the perspective shift making it a bit harder to aim shots. There's a bit of story as well, but it's usually just one line of dialogue before we go out shooting. The style and perspective are neat, but this is what I was talking about Space Invaders never really innovating. This is also what I mean by introducing crossovers means you're having money problems. Sure, Fortnite and Magic the Gathering are doing great, but are they really? A crossover means you run out of ideas, and rather than slowing your release schedule, you need to pad it out with weapons-grade garbage. Don't look at my channel. Ultraman Invaders looks great until the retina burn kicks in. Don't bother playing it. Streets of Rogue, 5 hours. I didn't take any notes or write a review for this one, so you know it left a huge impact on me. So here's the short of it. It's a top-down roguelike where every player has a job and you have to play a stage in a simulation-like game. There are no wrong answers. The stage is your oyster, and it's actually really fun. You can tackle your objective in a variety of ways. Yes, I just said way singular. Because despite having a lot of ways to solve your problems, it usually comes down to someone blowing up and slaughtering everyone just to check emails on a computer. Great game, don't play it alone. Space Invaders Extreme, 4 hours. Another top 5 Space Invaders and all they did was add music. Seriously, the original Space Invaders didn't even have music, it was just beeps and boops, that's all they could do. They added music, power-ups, combos, and sounds that sync to the beat. It's an absolute banger, until you realize that they didn't really do much to change the core gameplay of Space Invaders. Then again, this was my 13th Space Invader game in a 3-month period. You could definitely say I was experiencing franchise fatigue. It's not that bad of a game, but looking at Space Invaders makes me physically ill now. The Outlast Trials, 26 hours. Take your favorite horror game Outlast and turn it into a multiplayer co-op live service game. Yippee! Like Outlast, you have a goal and you try to achieve it, but the majority of the game is spent listening to your friends screaming about a blood-covered man with his wang out chasing them. The game gets very repetitive, as every stage is just about collecting X amount of objects then sawing off some dude's feet. It's excessively edgy, and it feels like they're just trying to see what they can get away with. It's a great game if you just want to run away from people with their weird gross genitals out, but you could do the same thing for free by skinny dipping with the elderly. r.e.p.o, 14 hours. It's a friend slap game that can't technically be beaten, but I played enough of it to see everything it has to offer. Of course, this is a game where you'll return with each update if you like it. In this genre of co-op scavengers, r.e.p.o does a lot different that makes it still a worthwhile addition. It's not simply a clone, it's definitely a clone, but it does do some stuff different. Similar to Lethal Company, you'll go in and collect items and bring them to extraction. Where it differs is having physics and multiple extractions. To expand on the idea though is durability. When objects collide, they take damage, which lowers the value of the object. Once it hits 0, the object shatters. That's not all though. Many objects will have an effect on the gameplay, like an hourglass that slows and deepens your mic audio, haunted dolls that thrash about and damage items and players, love potion that puts nice things in the chat about another player, a puppet that repeats you but higher pitched, and trank darts that make you talk slow. The monsters are really interesting too, but I want you to be surprised. Anything I played after the last game though would have gotten 5 stars from me as long as it didn't involve being chased by a guy with his twig and berries out, so maybe I'm being a little biased. Forager, 16 hours. This one has been left abandoned. The lead dev was taking all the credit and got behind on payments to the dev team. This resulted in the workforce leaving, which they were right to do. The game itself is enjoyable, but you can tell it was left unfinished. There isn't a reward for finishing the game. The end of the game is when you finally get tired of playing it. It's basically Minecraft, but top-down view and sped up, but even when it's very sped up, it's still pretty slow. It's cute and fast-paced, but if what everyone says about the dev is true, then I probably wouldn't have bought this game had I known that. I wish it was more public though. Nothing funnier than seeing a person getting humbled hard. The Outer Worlds, Spacer's Choice Edition, 53 hours. I love games like Fallout, so when I heard that the old gang was getting back together to bust out another new hit, I was so on board. Even more so when I saw the sci-fi anti-corporate setting. Nothing sums up capitalism more than spending $60 on an anti-corporate game. We live in hell, and we've kinda just accepted it. At least we have games to keep us busy though. And what a game this is. While on the subject of anti-corporate media, this kinda sucks at doing that. You're never gonna get good anti-corporate media from a team who has a publisher, so it kinda rings hollow the whole time, especially more so with that sequel that I will not be playing until it too is free on Epic. The whole time it's trying to present itself as holding up a mirror to society and culture while saying, "It's okay, I'm not like the other girls," then proceeds to give you one of the longest, most boring and unfulfilling shooter experiences ever, like Call of Duty the Fallout game. Listen, I'm a filthy little commie space rat, and I still didn't like it. But the gameplay is solid, and playing through on Supernova was enjoyable, at least for the first few hours. Then it was a breeze like all the other Fallout games. The story is enjoyable, and interesting, but the dialogue between it has all the flavor and fun of actually reading the Communist Manifesto. You think they might have a picture or two in it, but no, that shit is all words. Outer Worlds as a game is fine. It's another Fallout game, I guess. The DLC is terrible and lazy, with nothing new introduced, just repackaged assets. Pretty standard for this, industry. Despite the game being large and the combat being very good, I feel that the whole thing lacks passion. This didn't feel like a game they enjoyed making. It feels like they were trying to prove that they still got it. And yeah, they do. They made the same game again. But is that really the star you were shooting for? Bongo Cat, 413 hours, played idle. You press a key, he tap. You click the mouse, he tap. You press a button on your controller, he tap. Every 30 minutes you pay for a loot box with your taps. If you're lucky, you can sell the item that you got on it on the Steam storefront for enough money to buy 2 games. Bongo Cat is a game where you collect the original NFT. Steam items, and you try to scam another person into buying a JPEG. Funny how this game was able to tie back into the capitalist hellscape we live in while never having a single bit of dialogue. It's more effective anti-capitalist media than The Outer Worlds was, and it's free. The game needs more that you can do with your taps because the cost of boxes is less than what I produce because I write all day. And that's 31 through 40. Hopefully you found something interesting here, but a lot of these were just okay. I'm starting to think that the games I missed out on, I didn't really miss out on. Thanks for watching, and remember to tip your overlord. I take likes, subs, and 400,000 taps that I can't spend. Bye!